Welcome back to Wheeling the Dream. This is Nate and Heather, and this is the episode 2 of being on the road. We're almost to our final destination. We're about an hour and a half short of the Black Hills, and we're currently in the Badlands. But we wanted to go over the last few places we've been at over the course of the last week since we've been on the road. So you want to take us away?
We stayed in Augusta for several days, and then from there we ended up in Tennessee at Chilhowee Recreation Area. It's super pretty. It's in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. That was gorgeous.
It was pretty high up in the mountains there, and there was a lake right out at the bottom of the mountain there. It's a good climb up through there. We got into a little trouble on the way out there. Our GPS tried to lead us up this gravel road, this really hairy gravel road, and there was just no way and the RV was going to be able to make it up there. Luckily, not only did we stop at the signs that said no RVs, but we had some good Samaritans stop and kind of route us to the right direction so we could get up to the campground. We later came down that gravel road in our Jeep, and yeah, there's no possible way we would have made it up there.
It was hairy. There
were switchbacks and giant holes, and the road was real narrow, low power lines. I imagine people in RVs have probably gotten stuck up there a few times, and I imagine it was hell getting out of there. So anyway, yeah, the park itself was really, really beautiful up there. There was another lake up in the mountains right outside the park, and we let our kids swim in the lake a little bit, and we hiked around that area. We hiked all the way out, probably a couple miles back behind the lake to Benton Falls. So that was pretty neat to see too. Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that. That was the majority of how we used our time while we were up in Chilhowee Recreation Area.
We are in the Great Smoky Mountains. We're staying in Chilhowee Recreation Area. If you do end up coming to stay in Chilhowee Recreation Area, which we suggest you do. I mean, it's in the mountains. They're not too high. It's absolutely beautiful.
It feels good up here. It's about 15 degrees cooler up here.
So we failed earlier trying to find the falls in this place. It's like Benton Falls or something. So we're gonna head out again and try to find it. Now that we've eaten, we've rested up a little bit, and we have a better idea of where we're going. So wish us luck.
That's a long ways down right there. That would definitely be a fatal fall. So I'm gonna get back on the path now.
It was like a 1.5-mile hike in here, and it'll be like just saying it'll be a 1.5 miles out, but it is so pretty.
After that, we shot on out of there, and we made a quick stop for the 4th of July, actually, in this place called Between the Lakes in Kentucky. The campground was okay. There was a little.
It was cheap.
Yeah, it was real cheap, and we spent the majority.
And they had full hookups.
We spent the majority of the time there catching up on all the, the back end stuff.
Lots of work.
Work and laundry and all the fun stuff. So the area was kind of cool. There was a little place just south of our campground, Lakeside or something like that.
I don't know.
Anyway, it was a really neat little town. There was a lot of little like sailboats and stuff right off the lake there, and there was a couple pretty neat little local diners, and we stopped at one of them. Other than that, we didn't really do much there because we were just busy catching up on stuff. From there, we headed out of Kentucky. We very briefly went through Illinois and then into Missouri, back home where we're from. We had to cross over the Mississippi and Ohio rivers to get over into Missouri, and wow, they were pretty flooded. Pretty much our trip from this point forward was in flooded terrain. It's pretty wild to see. The Mississippi and Ohio both were so swollen that they were over the levees and
don't
everything.
think most Americans realize how much flooding there is still happening. Like when we first started traveling, we went through Vicksburg in Mississippi, and that whole area is completely out of its banks and flooded, and now there's a hurricane actually barreling towards that region of Louisiana into Mississippi, so they're going to get hit again, and then clear up into Iowa and Nebraska. It's just a flood zone.
So yeah, anyway, we stopped in there, took a short little break right there. There was actually a little park in between the Ohio and the Mississippi, like right where it filters into the larger Mississippi, and the park was flooded out completely. There was no access to it. There was a little parking lot up at the top right off the highway, and that was it. So we took a little short break there, and then we got back on the highway. We crossed a couple real narrow, hairy bridges.
Oh, they were scary.
Yeah, and then we headed on up Missouri, and we drove all the way up to Columbia. We were going to stop in St. Louis, but we had been told there was some flooding in St. Louis too, and we wanted to go see the arch and do that stuff, but we got told that was all flooded out, so we decided to just go on through there, and we headed straight to Columbia, where we met up with some family that we have there. We stayed at a Bass Pro for just one night, and then we headed out.
Thank you, Bass Pro.
Yeah. Thanks, Bass Pro. Bass Pro is awesome, by the way. Every Bass Pro will allow RVs to stay in their parking lots, whether they have slots or not. So far, from our experience.
Ask.
Yeah, just go in and find a manager and ask. After our night in Columbia, we headed up to Iowa, just north of Omaha, and we stayed in a little place called Hitchcock Recreation Area. When you think of Iowa, all you think of is flat cornfields. Most people. This place is kind of an outlier in Iowa. It's some pretty tall hills, and it's just soil. It's real wild. They're giant hills anywhere from 65 feet to a couple hundred feet high, and they're perched up over all this flat land, and it kind of gives you a bird's eye view of everything around you right there in the middle of Iowa. And once again, you can see all the flooded terrain all around it north of Omaha. So we stayed there a couple nights, and actually I celebrated my 31st birthday. Yay.
Oh, happy birthday.
While I was there.
About to get our workout on up these steps to go to the observation tower. Get an even better view from the top. There's all kinds of really pretty birds here, as well as all sorts of wildflowers. It's just such a pretty area. I had no idea this was even a thing in Iowa. Look at that! Gosh! Look at all that flooding.
Wild.
I'm hungry.
There's Omaha. We just got here last night, and we're in a pretty good spot. We're kind of, their RV park isn't really that big, and they just have electrical hookups, but that's fine with us. We're in a little spot right back here in the corner, and I kind of like it, actually. We're kind of perched up on a bluff up here, on the top of the ridge line, which is cool. Kind of gives us a pretty good point of view all around us. There's trails that are literally right behind our RV here, over here. Right over there by that sign over there. And they go down the ridge and then back up the ridge over this way, and it's quite a hike. I went on a little run this morning and almost didn't make it back. Anyway, today is my birthday, and we're just kind of hanging out in this RV park, and it's pretty nice. I don't know what we're gonna do today. I'm sure we're gonna get out and find something to do. Not too sure, but right now we're just sitting around relaxing, enjoying some coffee and some quiet time, and yeah, getting a little bit of work done. Anyhow, that's it for now. Then we headed out from there and started heading towards our final destination, and we stopped in at the Badlands, which is where we are now. You can see them right behind us.
It's so pretty here.
We're in a little campground just south of the Badlands. It's called Badlands Motel and Campground, I believe. It's okay. They have some full hookup sites and then some sites with no sewer. And
they don't have any 50 with water and sewer, only 30.
Yeah, it's odd. So I think it's an older campground, and they're trying to modernize to match the current rigs that are out there now. This is our second day. We spent all day yesterday in the Badlands, and we had a blast in the Badlands. There's so much to do up there. Well, if you're active like we are, if you like hiking,
there's lots of hiking.
There was a lot of hiking to do, and we drove all the way from one end of the Badlands to the other end. It was about a 45-minute drive, and we stopped off a few times at some different lookouts, and you know, just enjoyed the views and the wildlife. We stopped one time and we got to see some, what are they, black-tailed ferrets or something like that?
Black-tailed
prairie
gophers.
Dogs? Gophers?
Prairie dogs.
I don't know, small little...
They're prairie dogs.
Little animals. Anyway, there are hundreds of them coming out of their little holes and
they're all
barking.
chattering.
So that was pretty neat.
It's a Sunday morning rain, another sunrise by the roadside. Oh, it's an old and worn and stain, won't come out no matter how hard I try. And as the sun is coming up, I hear the sound of the waking city. I'll hitch a ride at the next truck stop, if someone will show a stray dog some pity. I pray, be still, my vagabond heart. Don't listen to the calling road. Be still, my vagabond heart. You don't have to go. The end was there right from the start, and that ain't no way to live. It was always more than just playing a part. So baby, please forgive my vagabond heart. Again, the open road lies before me. That old itch was starting to burn. It's the simple things that always draw me to see what lies behind the next turn. It won't be still, my vagabond heart. It's here in the calling road. So
We just started a hike up here into the Badlands. We made it up to the top of the hill that we were hiking. It was kind of difficult with the kids, but it was worth it. We made it up here to the top. We have a bighorn sheep or ram,
Whatever it is.
you know, one of those kinds of animals right behind us here grazing on the hilltop.
Whatever lives on the mountains.
And it flattens out up here. It's really neat. There was a lot of people out there in the Badlands, and it's the middle of the week, so we thought that was kind of strange. But every trail we went to, there were dozens of people on the trails. We had to be patient with some people, and some people had to be patient with us because we were, dragging our two little ones around up these pretty rigorous trails. That was pretty much my experience for the Badlands. What'd you think about them?
Yeah, it's really pretty. I've never seen anything like this. I've never been this far west. Like, I've flown over the Grand Canyon, but flying over it is completely different than being on the ground. So seeing the rock formations and everything here in the Badlands is really beautiful, and it makes me excited to see the Grand Canyon. The grass right now, we're getting bit by mosquitoes. This yellow grass behind us, it's actually sweet yellow clover, and I talked to the woman in the office. She said usually this time of the year it's completely dead and brown, so we're really lucky to see this right now. Yeah, it's so pretty. He got to get off the road a little bit, and I'll let him chatter on excitedly about that.
Well, that was the last thing that we got to do. That was yesterday on the way back from actually being out all day long in the Badlands. We were pretty tired, and I just happened to see a place right off the road. It was a place to ride off-road vehicles, four-wheelers, ATVs, Jeeps, anything like that. So we got out into the hills and got a little ride time in. It's been a while since I've gotten to do that, so.
Yeah, I got out so he could drive down the hill because I didn't want to be in there. You might see that on camera.
No faith in my abilities.
I'd rather have 2 feet on the ground. So it was fun out there though. Thanks for tuning in this week. We are so excited that you are here on our journey with us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and share it with your friends if that fits your fancy. And we'll see you next week.
More visibility is always better. Make sure you tune in for next week. We're going to be in the Black Hills for that episode. We're pretty much going to set aside multiple days to just drive and ride and get off-roading into the Black Hills, do some more hiking and all that good stuff. So you'll want to tune in for that one. Thanks.
Okay. See you next week.
Catch you later, guys.
Are you guys front porch sitting right now? Rock-a-bye, Riri, in the treetop.